The forest was silent, but it wasn't empty. It was December 16th, 1944, the Ardennes, Belgium. The temperature had plummeted so low that the oil in the rifles had turned to glue. A thick, suffocating blanket of fog pressed down on the treetops, hiding the greatest secret of the war. Underneath that white veil, 25 German divisions were holding their breath. 200,000 men. Thousands of tanks. They were invisible. If you want to uncover the hidden turning points of history that textbooks often skip, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button right now. This was the last gamble of the Third Reich. The Battle of the Bulge. The plan was insane, audacious, and heavily reliant on one specific thing. Not fuel, not ammunition, but the weather. Hitler's meteorologists had predicted a massive storm front. Heavy fog, low clouds, snow. It was designed to ground the superior Allied Air Force. As long as the Hitler weather held, the American planes couldn't fly. As long as the sky was gray, the German tanks were kings. Oberleutnant Erich Weber sat in the turret of his Panther tank. The steel walls radiated a bone-deep chill. He wasn't thinking about victory or the glory of the fatherland. He was thinking about his toes. He couldn't feel them anymore. The world outside the tank was a gray void. The mist was so dense you could barely see the muzzle brake of the gun 5 meters away. It felt like the edge of the world. He pulled his scarf tighter, the wool scratching his raw skin. The air smelled of unwashed bodies, pine needles, and the sharp, chemical sting of diesel exhaust. Somewhere ahead, an engine coughed into life, a guttural roar instantly muffled by the heavy snow, a knock on the hull. Weber looked down. It was his driver, barely a boy, looking up with eyes rimmed in red fatigue. "Sir, are we moving?" "Wait for the signal." "I can't feel my hands, sir." "Put them on the transmission case, just wait." The fog was their armor. Weber knew this. Without it, they were sitting ducks for the American Jabos, the fighter bombers that ruled the daylight. But right now, the sky was solid lead. Then, the ground shook, not from an earthquake, but from the simultaneous roar of 2,000 guns opening fire. The offensive had begun. The initial advance was a nightmare of confusion. The Hitler weather was working, but it was a double-edged sword. The storm that grounded the American planes also turned the roads into rivers of slush and ice. Weber's column crawled forward. The massive tanks slid on the icy hairpin turns. The narrow roads of the Ardennes were never meant for 60-ton monsters. In his diary, a soldier from the 6th Panzer Army wrote, "The snow is not white anymore. It is gray with exhaust and black with mud. We are fighting the earth itself. The road grabs the tracks and refuses to let go." By the third day, the momentum was stalling. The weather was becoming a killer. It wasn't just hiding them. It was blinding them. Weber stood in the commander's hatch, straining to see through the sleet. It was stinging his face like needles. The convoy had stopped again. A fuel truck had jackknifed on the ice ahead, blocking the entire division. A runner scrambled up the side of the tank, breathless. "How long?" Weber barked. "They're pushing it off the road, sir. 10 minutes. "We don't have 10 minutes. We are burning fuel just sitting here." "The mud is waist deep, sir. It's like glue." This was the friction of war. The Germans needed speed to capture American fuel depots. But the storm was slowing them to a crawl. They were winning the battle against the Americans, but they were losing the race against time. The fog persisted. For a week, it was a gray purgatory. The Americans were fighting desperately, isolated in pockets like Bastogne, praying for the sky to clear. The Germans were pushing, praying for the clouds to stay. Weber felt invincible in the gloom. He had destroyed 2 Sherman tanks the day before. They never saw him coming. The mist had shrouded his Panther until the very last second. He wrote a letter home, scribbling on damp paper by the light of a kerosene lamp inside the tank. "Mother, do not worry. The clouds are our roof. As long as the gray ceiling holds, we will reach Antwerp. The Americans cannot fly. They are blind. But nature is not a loyal ally." On the morning of December 23rd, everything changed. Weber woke up to a strange sensation. Silence. The wind had died down. The incessant drumming of sleet against the hull had stopped. He pushed open the hatch and climbed out. The air was crisp, painfully cold. He looked up. His heart stopped. It wasn't gray. It wasn't white. It was blue. A brilliant, piercing, impossible blue. The sun was rising over the snow-covered hills, glittering like diamonds. It was the most beautiful morning of the winter. To the American troops shivering in their foxholes, this was the Christmas miracle. To Erich Weber, it was a death sentence. He dropped back into the turret, grabbing the intercom headset. "Driver, engine, now!" "Sir? What is it?" "The sky. Look at the damned sky." It's clear, sir. Move. Get us into the tree line." But it was too late. The sound came first. A low, angry hornet's nest buzz growing louder by the second. The Luftwaffe was gone. Shattered weeks ago. The sky belonged to the Allies. High above, thousands of feet up, the silver wings of American P-47 Thunderbolts and British Typhoons caught the sunlight. They rolled over like birds of prey spotting a mouse in a field. The road was packed, bumper to bumper. Trucks, tanks, half-tracks. There was nowhere to go. The snowdrifts on either side were 6 feet deep. They were trapped on a ribbon of asphalt under a perfect blue sky. "Aircraft, 12 o'clock high," the radio screamed. The first bomb hit the fuel truck at the head of the column. The explosion was blinding. A pillar of oily black smoke punched a hole in the pristine sky. Then came the strafing runs. The P-47s screamed down, their heavy machine guns tearing through the canvas tops of the transport trucks. Weber slammed the hatch shut. Bullets pinged off the armor like hail. "Reverse! Reverse!" he screamed. "I can't! There's a half-track behind us!" Inside the steel box, the noise was deafening. Outside, it was an inferno. The killer weather had flipped. The clear skies allowed the Allies to drop thousands of tons of bombs in a single afternoon. Weber watched through the periscope. The world was burning. Men were diving into the snow, desperate to escape the strafing fire. The convoy that had been a menacing iron snake was now a burning wreckage. The German supply lines, already strained by the mud, were now severed by air power. The grand offensive didn't end with a bang on the ground, but with a roar from the sky. Without the fog, the German army was exposed, vulnerable, and out of fuel. A captured diary from a soldier in the Panzer Lehr division summarized the despair of that day. "The sun is shining. It is a beautiful Christmas weather, and it is killing us. We are being smashed from above, and we cannot even lift our heads." Weber's tank ran out of fuel 2 days later. He abandoned it on a roadside in Belgium, leaving the hatch open. The machine was perfect. The gun was working. But the tank was useless. He walked west, back towards Germany, through the snow. He wasn't alone. Thousands of others were walking with him, leaving their equipment behind. The storm had promised them victory. The sun had delivered their defeat. Historical records confirm that when the weather cleared on December 23rd, the Allied air forces flew over 15,000 sorties in just 4 days. They dropped immense payloads on the stalled German columns. It broke the back of the offensive. Generals plan battles, but nature decides them. The fog gave the Germans a chance. The wind and mud stole their speed, and the sun sealed their fate. If you want more forgotten stories of real people who lived through the chaos of WWII, subscribe. This channel exists to bring their voices back. War creates heroes and villains. But sometimes, the biggest player on the battlefield isn't human at all. It's just the wind